What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's So Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. We have some tea to get into. But before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We kind of popping over there. Okay. Now, y'all, look. So we have some tea to get into. Obviously, I'm in my girl group era content, right? And I'm not giving it up for anybody, so kiss my ass. But like, look, we've talked about the girl group resurgent, right? So we're gonna refocus a bit on the Pussycat dolls, if you can't tell by the title, because I just feel the need to have a good conversation about this. It's a quite interesting thing, right? Now, the Pussycat Dolls released a new song called Club Song last week, I want to say, and it really kind of came out of nowhere. And I don't know if we're kind of in this time where people think that, oh, rumors are going around that this reunion is happening, and and people, I think that people think that rumors often lead to anticipation, and I don't know what they expect from that, but I just get the feeling that some people think that that's kind of the promo that they need, and I need people to realize that that's not the case. Rumors going around swirling that, oh, this might happen, people talking about it, blah 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 blah. No, especially when we're in a time where shit costs money, and if you're just gonna pop out randomly with a whole ass tour, you need to give people time to be able to buy your tickets. Okay, so that's just kind of the first area of this where I'm kind of on shaky ground about. Because after they released their song, right? Which again came out of nowhere, truly, they announced that they were going on tour with dates already ready. So, song came out, tour dates. There was no build up to it. Uh, when React came out, right? When they released React a couple years ago, they released React, they released a video, they went to perform different shows. They were on a platform. They were on stages. They were really gearing up to announce this tour. It didn't come out of nowhere, right? Maybe the announcement that they were coming back did, but that was fine because we had time to still process that. And there were five of them out of six, right? So the Pussycat Dolls lineup has always been five or six. That is totally normal, right? But like this time, they kind of went down a Identity Kane route. Now, that's for them, that can work out because let's be real, they're not booking arenas. They're booking what fits for them and their fans, and that is doing well for them, right? You really have to understand the pull you have. You do. Because you can't just go booking an arena tour not knowing if it's going to sell or not. Right? So here we are. The Pussycat Dolls drop a song. They announce a tour. We're finding out officially, after just rumors being around that there were only three returning, officially, three coming back. There are six Pussycat Dolls. There are six. You are missing half of the group. Half of the group. Announcement came out of nowhere. It's an arena tour. Like, oh girl, gas just hit $5 a gallon. The room was not red. It was not red. And mind you, I would be ecstatic for a Pussycat Dolls tour. Had it been at least five, shoot, even if it was four, I'd have been like, fine. I but it's just because like I don't know. I get the feeling that they're like, w- at least we have the centerpiece, right? Like that should sell it alone. But although it did feel like the group was Nicole with her backup dancers, it wasn't necessarily that, even though that's what it felt like and that's what it gave off. People were still aware of the other members, and people still knew their names and what they contributed to the group. And, now that there's really only three and the other two aren't singing, it really is giving backup dancers now. So it's just kind of an interesting dynamic now because Nicole went solo and it wasn't successful like the Pussycat Dolls. But you put her back into this position now. We only have three, and she's still the centerpiece, and she's still the only one that's singing, and she's still always in the middle. It's giving Nicole wanting the solo career, right? Because you can't do a 20-year reunion celebrating a group when you only have half the group. Oh, we gotta be serious. I need us to be serious. There's no way that you had conversations about the Pussycat Dolls coming back, knowing that you only had three, thought that you were going to surprise announce a song and a tour, and think that the tour was going to sell. Because I'm looking at these ticket sales, girls, and they're not selling. They're not selling, and there's really not any interest in it. Nobody wants to go see the Pussycat Dolls as three. And here's my thing, right? Because you have to think about when you're going on tour, you want supporting acts. And supporting acts are who can elevate the experience of your show. Sometimes it is who genuinely fits the narrative, right? But sometimes it may not be somebody who fits the narrative or that aesthetic. Maybe it's still somebody that kind of aligns. But at the bottom of it, if they're not going to be an artist that actually pulls weight in support for you as the main act, then what is the point? You're gonna want somebody that sells. And this is not shade, but Little Kim is not selling them tickets for you. Maya is also not selling them tickets for you. When we look at the Brandy and Monica tour, it's a totally different thing. You had Coco Jones, you had Kelly Rowland, you had a wide variety, you had a wide range of generations that would come see that tour. And, well, Brandy and Monica, they're not essentially two individual groups that got half the members. You know what I mean? So, like, theoretically, if Pussycat Dolls did have all of their members and Maya and Little Kim were on this tour, that would be fine. But you don't even have a selling point for the main act. We're coming to see half the dolls. we we are. And that feels inauthentic, right? I mean, I was listening to Club Song, and mind you, I don't think Club Song is a bad song at all. And I've said this several times. But it, like, I feel, I don't hear the difference, but I almost feel the difference in a way. And that could just be because of the preconceived notions that I have already. But when I listen to the song, I can't lie to you. I have gone back to the song several times, like several times, because I can't help but love a good girl group moment. But sometimes you got some tea to speak on. And this right here is just driving me crazy because I saw a clip earlier today where Nicole and the other two dolls were, doing an interview, and the interviewer asked, well, how did you come to this conclusion of just being three members of Pussycat Dolls? And I have never seen Nicole stuck on anything, period. Like, that lady knows what to say and how to address everything. However, she had no answer for that question. Her mind went blank, which tells me she did have an answer, but not the politically correct one. And I almost wonder what that answer is. I want to know the real tea because, uh, it, I mean, imagine, and this isn't just for the Pussycat Dolls. Imagine if Fifth Harmony came back, right? And they didn't have three members. Imagine if they came back with just three members, right? Imagine if I got me some Normani, Allie, and Lauren. You know how mad I would be? I need the whole group girlies. Okay? I will take five. I will take six. I will take four. I will take five. I'll take three. I'll take four. That's fine. One down is okay. That happens, right? Half the group. Oh, be fucking for real. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting because I don't. I hope that the tickets do sell, but they're not selling right now, and I really don't think that there's going to be this massive surge in people wanting to go to an arena tour for the Pussycat Dolls. You haven't sold it to me. You haven't sold it to me. It's a totally different thing, right? Because we see resurgence from like Hillary Duff and stuff like that. But again, all of these are sole acts. These are sole acts. The entity of the Pussycat Dolls, the image of the Pussycat Dolls that we know, right? That we know has been five or six. Spice Girls went on tour. They didn't go on tour without half the group. Maybe one down to something. Yeah, for sure. So I'm interested to see how this moves forward for them because they've already hinted at there being more music. And we all know that the last time that they were together when they were doing React, they were doing new music, but they were also doing music that included all of the girls. That was the plan. I hope that still is the plan. Based on the song Club Song, I hear the other girls inside the music. So it's not something where, you know, they're going to be shut out. But here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. Um, they feel like more of a group with the three of them, but they don't feel like the Pussycat Dolls. But they feel like a group. But we all know the Pussycat Dolls is a brand, and it kind of brings me back to whenever Sophia of Cat's Eye said that, whether one is gone or whoever is gone, it doesn't matter if we're this, or this, we're always going to be Cat's Eye. And it's a reminder of something, a formula that we don't want. It's a reminder of the formula that the American general public does not want. They don't want a group that is consistently changing lineups, right? They don't want a group that excludes a member in any way. You're shooting a magazine constantly without a member. You're shooting videos constantly without a member. Nobody wants to see that, especially in this time, because the Pussycat Dolls came back from a time where one person was the head of the group. That's how that went. There was always a main girl, but we're in a space now where every girl carries that weight because they can, and they do, factually. And again, nobody's going to give this any credit, but Fifth Harmony was a super group when they were created, but also Little Mix at the same time. And those two groups really put girl groups back on a map and then showcase them in a different manner. There is no main girl here. All of these girls can sing and carry and have their own styles. Period. And it showed in their music whenever the music was equally distributed. You could really see that every girl was strong. So I think that now, with the space that we're in, we don't want to see just one person in the middle. And I'm looking at the Pussycat Dolls comments, and they're like, Nicole, are you going to be the one that's in the middle the whole time? Let the other girls sing. Please let the other girls be in the middle. Please. I'm begging you. And I don't know if that's going to be the case, because I think that Nicole is very much set on the space that, well, the Pussycat Dolls are built around me. And it seems that the other girls also understand that as well. And I think that all of that was just the business of it, because it's quite clear that other girls did have vocals, for sure, down. And Melody could sing her ass off too. But it's like, girl, like, I hate that business model. I do. And I'm so glad that it's over with. I am, which is why it's going to be so hard for them to sell a ticket, because when everybody's feeling so nostalgic about the Pussycat Dolls and blah 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 blah, like this isn't what they had in mind. Everybody heard that the Pussycat Dolls would be coming back. I think it would have been better for them to publicly announce this direction and gear everybody up for that. Because, like I said, hearing the song Club Song, it doesn't sound like anything changed because Nicole was always the centerpiece. But knowing that all the girls aren't there, it feels different. It may not sound different. Um, the feeling that the music gives you energetically is still there for sure. It's definitely a Pussycat Doll sound, song, blah blah blah. It hits all the marks for it. But I don't know. I'm really wishing them the best. I'm hoping for the best. And girl, I don't know. But here's what here's a big thing for me, right? Because the Pussycat Dolls have so many girl groups surrounding them right now. Do you realize? Do you realize how it would have went if they would have chosen two girl groups to go on tour with them? That would have sold. That would have sold. You have to know your audience because you're in a position now where the girls and the gays are coming out to you. And it's not that the girls and the gays don't like Little Kim or Maya, but, and I know that you're going for this nostalgia thing, but you have continued to live on through your videos and content throughout generations. And the people who are OG fans of those and even yours, they're really not coming out to the show like that. They would probably rather go, like if Brandy and Monica was on tour and they had, and because I believe Maya was on tour with Brandy and Monica as well, like that's the perfect audience for to bring Maya up in, right? But this is not. So I felt like this was horribly planned. This was horribly rolled out. And this isn't a bash thing because I want it to be good. I want to see the Pussycat Dolls not like this. It seems more than ever that they were not entirely prepared for this. They weren't even prepared for the question of, well, how did you settle on just three? Right, because one of the members said that they had been planning this for a year and they hadn't even communicated with me, and this was obviously one of the members that said that they would not return if asked, but she said she would at least like to have been involved in the conversation. And I think that's quite fair. It is a 20th celebration of the group, and the group is more than just you three, and I obviously think that they know that. But I'm just wondering in my head, like, how did you think this was gonna go? I have to know. Like, it's sending me into a frenzy, girl, because there's no way you thought this was gonna work out that way. Like, positively, you really thought it would with half the group. I can't get over it. I'm gonna say it the whole podcast because whoa, like if Cat's Eye showed up to a performance with three girls and was like, "We're still Cat's Eye," I'm gonna go at this point. No, you're not. Rename yourself. I have no idea. I'm not gonna tell the Pussycat Dolls to rename themselves because look how long they've been building that brand, girl. Be for real. But like, come on. Anyway, y'all. Look, that's really all I came on here to talk about. Get a little rant about the Pussycat Dolls reunion tour because I'm seeing it everywhere and it is just annoying me. And they're not even coming out here to Vegas, girl. So it is what it is. I don't know why people do not come out here to Vegas to tour on their tours. But yeah, I actually think that the Pussycat Dolls would have done amazing with a Vegas residency. Absolutely. Because, and I think they should have started off that way because look, it's kind of the way that Hillary Duff kind of reintroduced herself back into the space before she introduced a world tour. She did a small room, big nerves kind of tour where she did a small, little, I don't really know what those are called, but it was just, like, I don't want to say an arena. and it's not like it's some auditorium type shit, but like, it's a pretty good sized room with a good amount of fans to come inside, a couple thousand. And so, she started off that way, and then she went into some Vegas residencies over at the Venetian, and she just really reacclimated herself with the fans, the stage, the industry. So people really knew that she was there. She was back into the cycle of things, and honestly, that's what the Pussycat Dolls did. Like I said, when React came out, they really did. Like they were rolling that shit out, and it was planned and executed, but this right here just seems so messy. It seemed like it set themselves up for failure. And I'm honestly just hoping that it turns out well. I really am. Very upset it's not in Vegas like I just said 2 minutes ago. But anyway, I'm moving on. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next of the music. The club song, like I said, I still play it from time to time. It's been a week, so the fact that I haven't totally ignored it is a good thing. So, like I said, I'm willing to see what the girls are going to serve with some new music, hearing the other girls. I mean, seeing them in interviews, it really feels like the other girls have a voice. And that's not something that I've always felt with the Pussycat Dolls. So, that is an interesting dynamic. And seeing Nicole not talking as much or speaking for them, that's totally new to me. But I also like it at the same time. So, what a weird whirlwind of feelings here, right? Because, like, US Pussycat Dolls is not giving, but, like, if you weren't the Pussycat Dolls in this new space of a group, like, it would be giving. Anyway, that's just my thoughts for the day. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening today. That's all my girl group tea. You can tune back in, and I'll probably be talking about more girl groups next week. I mean, be for real. It is girl group mania. It is a girl group resurgence. And again, what can I say? I love me a good girl group. Anywho, hopping off here, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the That So Dev podcast, where you stay true and you stay you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube, because we got a popping over there, girl. Okay? All right, y'all. I appreciate you. I'm hopping off here, and I will be seeing you on the next podcast. Peace.